Uh-oh.
Yo, everybody doing? King
Uh-oh.
Dingbat here. I forgot to do the damn intro. I forgot to put it out there. So, on today's Philly Shakedown podcast, we will be going through the Eagles Giants game as the Eagles survived almost total collapse today, coming to you very soon.
Sonny, Joey, 500. Got some goats in the building. Get ready for a shakedown.
Prepare for a shakedown. We from Philly where they clap like huddles when they break down. Get ready for a shakedown. We underdogs, my guy. Kinda used to all the hate now. Prepare for it, man. Y'all get it. My QB got swag. My wideout is award winning. This fly was fly. Joey and 500. Like and subscribe. Yeah. Here's a quote you can sing back. Shake squad up and don't be a dingbat. It's a shakedown.
Don't you frown.
Here comes the
Shakedown.
Let's go.
Yo, by the way, King Dingbat here. Welcome to the proper Philly Shakedown podcast. I forgot to put the damn intro in there, but what's going on, everybody? Eagles win today. We should all be happy for the win. That they now have 11 wins. We now control the NFC East. But, man, there's a lot of stuff going on. A lot of crazy stuff going on. And we're going to get into it. Joey, what's going on, my man?
I'm good, man. Enjoyed my holiday today. Well, of what's left of it so far. And, today was, the positive thing that came out today was a win. Eagles still control their own destiny. And that's just a part of the bigger piece of the problem. Probably gonna get into it with fans this week on a lot of issues, and it looks pretty serious than we thought.
It doesn't. At this point, there's just something internally going on with this team. I believe it totally. You notice when they called the 4th and 7 timeout. At the end of the game, Sirianni, and they showed him on the side. He was arguing with the coaches were arguing with each other. They were arguing. So I think there's a lot of frustration going on. I think there's a lot of things going on. We just don't know, and this team is really struggling. Nick DeWick, thank you for Super Chat. He goes, your team got so bailed out by referees, it's not even funny. That false start against the center and 2 PIs. Are you kidding? 2 PIs. Tell me the PIs. I'm trying to remember the PIs. I know the one false start wasn't the center; it was the guard, and it was because he was doing
what
this.
PI? I don't even remember a PI.
I don't remember the PI off top of my head. But let's face it, the Eagles should have been blowing the Giants out. And thank you, Nick DeWick, for the super chat. You come out at the halftime. You come in the third quarter and you kick off. How does that happen? How does Boston Scott fumble that ball? It's like the Eagles do this every week. They give themselves this like stretch in games where they just completely collapse and just try to give the game away. They literally tried to give the game away, Joey.
Yeah, but it's more than that. It's some things that we let up on where, they had two pretty good drives and like in the beginning, and then they went back to their old ways of this slow motion RPO, not put it all on Jalen Hurts to give the ball to whoever the running back is or keeping it for himself. Keeping the ball in Jalen Hurts' hands has probably been the worst thing this season because he is regressed. Now, when I say that, I don't mean that he's not a franchise quarterback of the future or anything like that. This is just a really bad year. And the coaches are not helping him sustain a run game and keeping a balance. And you saw what they did when they used DeAndre Swift. They had, 15 yards the first half. I mean,
5 carries, by the way. Only 5 carries in the first half.
Gainwell is still favored till this day. They use him really for everything. I mean, I still don't get it. And Swift, what he did on even the one where he was down in the red zone on his knee, but still he went to the right side, to the left. He did that twice in this game, especially at the end of the game. And look what you did when you kept running with DeAndre Swift. That was what we should look like all year. This is the Philadelphia Eagles. So bad that the Eagle fans in the stands were saying, run the ball and big chance. It's that bad, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's really crazy. I don't have an answer. Like, I don't know what this team thinks or how they think about the running. Like, I can't understand how they can even like process this. Where like you don't win this game today without DeAndre Swift. I mean, people, DeAndre Swift in that fourth quarter won you the game. Some of those runs. It doesn't happen without him. Lucius the Show, thank you for a super chat. He goes, another Purdy pick. Well, I don't even know what channel the game is on. What channel is the game on? But I actually thought in the first half they were taking a lot of underneath throws. They were taking what the defense was giving them. They were moving the ball for the most part. I mean, they could have run a little more. They had the nice slant to Devontae Smith that scored. I think that play would have been there all day. And then in the second half, they come out and I think they throw like they run like once and then they throw like 7-8 times in a row. And then one of those turned into a pick six. So it's like I don't know who's calling this play, but you can tell by watching this team, watching the players. There is frustration there. There is stuff going on. I just know there's more to it than we know right now.
I agree.
Bald Eagle, thank you for the super chat. He goes, that Seattle game will haunt us. 49ers will lose. They might lose. That it could happen. First down Baltimore. I don't even know what channel is that game on.
ABC.
ABC. Okay, I'll have to put it on later. Bradbury stinks.
Oh God!
I'll tell you.
What did he do today?
Oh, he's hard. He
Waller
gave up on that last drive. Yeah, 2 drives. Waller was wide open on him, man. Bradbury's got to get benched. When Slay comes back, I'm going with Ringo and Slay. That's what I'm going to do. I'll tell you who I thought. I'll tell you something positive. I thought Shaq Leonard had a really good game. I thought that, especially early in that first half. I mean, dude, he made some big plays for us at linebacker. I think Shaq Leonard came on a little bit today, Joey.
He brings some excitement. He brings just how they're like, if you run with DeAndre Swift, he brings that juice to your offense, to your defense. I mean, I thought he was great. He was energetic and he was making tackles. And yeah, I mean, hopefully he's coming to his own a little bit, a lot sooner than expected, but I didn't expect it to happen this fast, but hopefully it continues.
Yeah. Luke Bradshaw, favorite super chat goes, Smitty and Nick arguing after the game says it all. Nick is losing this team. And for Dante, who is as patient as ever, calling him out says a lot. What did Devontae called him out? I don't know what he said. I haven't heard any of the post-game stuff. I thought there was one play on the sideline where it looked like Devontae was trying to tell the coach what the other coach was like, explain it to him. Like, I think they were pissed off that he was using a timeout on 4th and 7 in that situation, because when the play snapped, it looked like, because they blew a play that it looked like they had the Giants right where they wanted them. And I think the coaches were pissed off that you're giving now the offense a time to reevaluate their play and also have an idea how you wanted to line up. And I think the coaches had a right to be pissed off at Sirianni for that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, Nick doesn't look, even with this win, Nick looked a lot different during this game. Like, he just looks like he's worn down. It looks like there's some type of different vibe going around. Like, there's maybe 2 or 3 different things being taught scheme wise, or there's a mix of things going on, or maybe things are going on. Maybe we're not seeing on the field as much. Maybe it's starting to kind of, boil over a little bit, that we're not, maybe some of the stuff that's happening in the background is starting to happen on the field now.
It's starting to spill over.
Oh, yeah. No doubt.
Somebody said that A.J. Brown refused to talk to the media. And I don't know if that's true, but he refused to talk to the media. It makes you wonder, man, what's really, really going on. Um, it's just crazy to me how quickly something like this could change.
It's true.
Dan Kelly Green says there's always something in the middle of the game. We overreacting over this shit. Here's the thing I will say, because I hear a lot of people say, "Well, the Eagle fans are overreacting, and we're making a big deal of it." The Eagle fans are only reacting based upon what they're seeing from the team and the coaches and how they handle the press conference and the fact that they fire their defensive coordinator and the fact that they do all these panic things makes the fans react the way we do. It's not that the fans are just overreacting because they came out and had one bad day. They're overreacting, or I don't know that they're even overreacting. They're reacting to the front office and the team and this team right now, who I think is almost seems like they're panicking. That's the truth.
Oh, when you hear the same excuse every week from the same people, you got to say to yourself, okay, well, what else is there? Like, Nick has pretty much downplayed everything at this point when it comes to coaching changes. No, we're not going to make a change. And then they make a change, or,
right,
we have to make some adjustments when they really aren't making adjustments. Like, it's all lies at this point. So, like, is somebody on the hot seat? Is something going on? Is there something that we don't know going behind the scenes? And I hate being lied to every week. And I hate that every time they promise us something. And I feel bad for the players, especially because the players are excited. Every week they get practice for a game. They're mentally prepared. We took a lot of these players were taking accountability this week. AJ Brown especially was taking accountability, and much respect to him for Jalen Hurts throwing that suicidal pass to him. When Devontae Smith was open on that play, but these players are taking more accountability than the coaches, and the coaches have so much fucking pride. And I feel like all of them have so much pride. They're doing things their own way, or I don't know what the case is. It's the higher ups. It's what else is involved in this situation that we're not seeing?
Yeah, I think there's stuff going on internally that we'll probably hear about later on in the year. So it's just crazy. It's like the team always. It seems like every game we have this stretch where we just go into like self-destruct mode. You come out, you're up 20-3. You come out, you get the ball first, and you fumble the kickoff. Like, that is such a freak wacky thing that happened, but it gave the Giants life. And then a few plays later, you have a pick six. You just handed 14 points to the Giants. And it's not just this one game. It's like every week there's a period within games that we just do this. And then we have to stop the bleeding and we have to kind of bounce back. And we most of the time do that. And we did it today, but I don't know like where that comes from, but it's very frustrating. You didn't even see Boston Scott after that fumble. You didn't see him the rest of the game.
No.
So it's crazy. Non-killing there. David Superchat goes, "We better not lose next week. I'll be at the game screaming, run the ball." Listen, if they decide to just start running the ball like they did in the fourth quarter, they'll beat everybody. I really think they'll beat everybody, because I don't think anybody can stop that. But they've got to start trusting DeAndre Swift. Like, he can't have 5 carries in the first half anymore. Like, you have to trust this guy. He makes so much happen for this team, dude, in my opinion.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off or change anything here, but AJ Brown did decline not to talk to the media, and he said that I have nothing nice to say. What is it towards the play? There's no way it's towards the players.
No, it's probably towards the media. He's probably mad at the media. Maybe the way they do. I'm just guessing and speculating.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have no idea. But it's crazy.
I know.
Faded into gaming. David Supercheck, he goes, "Hey, Merry Christmas, Philly and Joey. I'm starting to get vibes about what happened to Doug Peterson when he got fired. Just not sure anymore." Yeah, it's tough. I mean, it's tough. And listen, I know people are out there and they're saying, "Listen, we won. We should be happy about that." And we are happy that they won. And we'll get into all that stuff and what it means. But, we should have blown this team out. They should have blown this team out. And it's every week we're in these close games. And a lot of it is self-inflicted wounds. It's things that we do to ourselves. It's not that the team does. It's what we do. It's every week. Eric Nowitzki, David Super Chat. Van Summerham was good at the run game third. I thought Van Summerham played pretty good from the limited times I was able to like key in on him. You know, I think the number one problem on defense, and maybe people won't agree, I think it's the lack of pass rush. You cannot get to the quarterback right now, and when they do get the quarterback, they cannot contain the quarterback, and they can't. And they get away. I mean, the Giants were giving up, I think, like 5 sacks in the last 4 games. We barely regained to these guys.
1 sack the whole game. Okay, like you're not running stunts and you're not blitz. I mean, I don't get like. Seriously, like it's to a point now. It's week 16. Like, where's the why aren't the linebackers playing more downhill? Why can't you stop a QB scramble? Why can't you contain? Why are these defensive ends rushing inside every time someone rushes inside? DeVito was outside the pocket almost. The ball wasn't going anywhere because he's not good. So I'm not expecting much. But the QB scramble drill has been our enemy this year. Cannot stop these QBs on third down.
Yeah.
Ever.
And did you notice on the 4th and 7 play, right, where they got the first down, they dropped Reddick in the coverage? Like, why would you drop Reddick into coverage? He's your best pass rusher. It's just things like that. Mouse and David Super goes, AJ declined to speak, has, quote, nothing good to say. But at who? Nothing good to say to the media or about the media or about what's going on. I'm telling you, I'm going to go back and watch that timeout that Sirianni calls because they were arguing on the sideline. And I never seen the coaches argue like that on the sideline. So, there's definitely frustration with this team. JMB David Super Chat, he goes, Mark, call you out for not blowing them out, but we won. Well, listen, to me, it's not. Listen, division games are always tough. I'm not so concerned that it wasn't a blowout. But what I'm concerned about is the mistakes that happened when it was 20-3. The kickoff return that's fumbled, the pick six. It's like these things happen to us, and it always kills us and makes things worse. We've got to find a way to eliminate these mistakes. We really do, That's what bothers me more.
Mm-hmm.
Mark is just, his team stinks. Never stress it. David Super Chat goes, what did you guys think about Ringo today? These screens make me cringe still. Yeah. I thought Ringo was good again. The screens. Yeah.
They're overused.
Too much. It's way too much. It's overused is right. And, there were a couple plays where they were showing, because the Giants kept blitzing. They were just coming. It hurts. Mm-hmm. And I think you're going to see teams start doing this way more.
Yes,
exactly. I think the teams are going to start doing exactly what the Giants did today. They want him to bail out and go to his right because 90% of the time when he rolls out to his right, it's not completing it. So there were a couple times where they were showing the routes on the blitz, and there was nobody running over the middle. They run and then they just stop their routes. You ever notice these guys don't run through anything? They stop. They settle down and they stop. And when Hurts is getting blitzed and stuff, you need somebody to run through. The one play they actually ran through the route was on that slant that Devontae Smith scored. They don't do that often,
No. Mm-mm.
So it's just something, I'm going to be honest. I said this, and I got a lot of heat for this week, and I don't care. I think if the Eagles lose one of the next 2 games and lose in the first round, I think Nick Sirianni's getting fired.
Yeah, I believe it.
If they lose one of the next 2, let's say they don't win a division, lose in the first round of the playoffs, he's gone. He's gone. And I don't even know if he's going to I don't know what's going on, but something doesn't seem right,
Yeah.
Jay Wheels.
Go ahead. You're good.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. What are you saying?
I've kind of had that feeling that Nick was. I'm not saying Nick is on the hot seat right now. We don't know if he is on the hot seat, but he just looked very different today, even from the beginning of the game. Like his regular. And I understand you lost 3 games straight, so I don't expect him to be like anything crazy. But I felt like if you do lose that first playoff game, if you are a one and done in the playoffs, I think it's all on him. I mean,
Yeah.
it has to be at this point. So
Yeah,
that's all I
because
wanna say.
listen, you're talking about a team that was 10-1, 2 games up on the number 1 seed, losing possibly a division at that point, and a first round playoffs. I mean, that's a collapse. Somebody's got to pay for that. J Wheels, thank you for Super Chat. Goes 0 plays for the offensive stars in the red zone. Oh yeah, they don't want to do that at all. I don't know. There's so much frustration. There is, and you hope that a win makes it feel a little bit better. But then you hear about AJ Brown not talking to the media, so now you got to wonder, like, what's really going on? Purdy's third interception. Good. Bubba says this team's broken from an organizational problem. They will not allow changes to their scheme. Howie wants defense played this way, and Howie's the one who didn't want to pay C.J. Gardner-Johnson and paid Old Corner. Yeah, well, I mean, it seems like that's the real issue is the analytics department always wanting to run a certain scheme that is beneficial in the analytical type thing, but I mean, something's got to give. Something's got to give. I think if they just played their offense like they did in that fourth quarter, if they came out and played that way, smash mouth football, run the ball, we're going to run the ball, we're going to take the underneath stuff, I think they'd be fine, Joey. I do. I think they'd be fine.
I think you have to change your identity. Well, you haven't really found our identity, but I think you got to change it up now. I think you have to go through the run game. I think you have to get to the, to open up the pass. I think the run is the first thing they have to do. I think things have to change for this offense. And, I feel like everyone's doing whatever they possibly can. These players are doing whatever they can. They're put into these situations, but every position is flawed and not getting the production it needs because of just how they're using some of these guys. And I noticed in the first half they were using, they would have Julio on screen. They had a Britton Covey on a screen. Like they tried getting more people involved, Calcaterra and getting Goddard involved. So I appreciate the distribution of the football at times. But I feel like they try to do, I don't know if they're overthinking it, and Hurts having the ball in his hands like he was even before Dallas Goedert slipped the play before that. That should have been a pick. I mean, the play
before that was to me, that was a worse throw. The play before that where he tried to throw to AJ Brown, that was a worse pass than the pick. The pick, I mean, the guy falls down, but it's just like those things seem like they happen every game, whether it's like one quarter or a certain time where it's just like it all changes and goes to hell. I mean, we gave up 14 points so quick.
But it's like, and Hurts senses pressure for like a half a second, bails to the right, and you already know it's going to be incomplete automatically because guys are like 25. I mean, I don't know where everybody is. Like, so if you bail to the right, like what are these receivers doing? I just don't get it, dude.
That if they would have ran one wide receivers or not one wide receiver, but one running back screen on one of those blitzes and just dumped it off, it'd be 40 yards downfield.
Mm-hmm.
There's nobody. They were coming zero blitz a lot of times. And they were, and there's even times where he bails out and all he has to do is step up. Yeah, they're blitz, but if you just step up in the pocket, you're okay. It's crazy. I don't feel like it's Jalen Hurts. See, I feel like the talent is there. I feel like Hurts is the guy. I feel like the offense has the weapons. I just don't think they're putting these guys in the right position to succeed. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Kaufman, David Super Chat goes, I think Nick will be given an ultimatum. Take a hand-picked offensive coordinator or you're fired. Yeah, I mean, possibly. I mean, if for all I know, those are coordinators that Howie wants. I don't even know. I live Philly fan. David Super Chat goes, evening, brothers. It seems like the Niners are gassed up on their juice, but so far, Baltimore's keeping them in check. If Baltimore wins, yeah, that Seattle loss is even worse for us, But it is what it is. I mean, At the end of the day, though, I mean, I don't want to be. I hate to be like sound negative in a
It's
loss.
not. It's not.
It's just, but there's things going on that you can tell outside looking in. You just look at what's going on, and something's not right. There's just something not right with this team.
Yeah, the problem is it's not there's nothing wrong to say there's something bad about this team, or maybe you're overreacting because we have a playoff game. We have a playoff game. It's not like the season's over. We're playing the rest of our regular schedule and it's done. And
Right.
we're talking about, and we're going to be talking about the offseason soon. We have a fucking playoff game to play.
Right.
Just how we're playing right now is just, it's not cutting it. Like this team is just not cutting it to where I don't even know who to blame anymore because there's so much frustrations. I mean, there's like somebody just put a video out on Twitter, like a video on, remember when Reddick went to the sideline with Nick Sirianni? Somebody like lip synced it and it was pretty accurate, saying, get the fuck back on the field or something like that. Told him to get the fuck back on the field or something. Like he said, like, get away from me, get the fuck back on the field or something like that. Said something like that. I'm just like, what the hell is going on? Like,
yeah, I know. It just the way they were talking on the sidelines after that timeout in 4-7 was like it just like it didn't seem right. It was like you could tell. Crispy Davis Super Takers, gotta say it, guys. Hurts is regressing this year. I think some of the issues with Hurts are because the coaching staff is not teaching this guy and putting him in the right positions to succeed. And then I think he overcompensates and tries to make plays. Now, I'll say this, like a play like at the end of the half, I don't know what he's thinking. I don't know how you could be in the league this long and decide not to go out of bounds and to cut it back a second and almost run the clock. That's such a Carson Wentz type of thing to do. You know what I'm talking about?
No, I get it. I'm all over the damn place. I'm just all over the place.
Yeah.
So all this video is coming out on who the guy that he was talking to with the headset. Who is that? Is that the who is that? The guy that
I don't know. I don't know. What does he look like?
There's like, he's just I don't know. He's just the guy with the headset. The first time you saw him argue with somebody was this other guy in a headset, like on the sideline next to Devontae Smith. I don't know who was that.
Yeah.
To find out who that coach is. I don't know who that was. I gotta figure it out.
Oh, is that the defensive line coach? Maybe.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it is defensive line.
Yeah. So. I don't know. It's crazy. JH, Denver Super Chat goes, offense played much better, 7 scoring drives. I actually thought that when the offense early on in the first half, at least they were taking underneath stuff. They were dumping off. If there wasn't something downfield, Jalen Hurts checked down. I thought that was good. Still don't think they ran enough because DeAndre Swift only had 5 carries. I think he had 17 carries in the second half. But I thought that they played, especially in the first half, I didn't think they played too bad. It wasn't until you came out in the third quarter and started the whole half with the fumble, right? The Boston Scott. It seems like, and this is what I'm saying, it seems like this team panics. Like the fumble with Boston Scott, Giants get the ball back, and it's like I felt like they started to panic, started to press, started to get like worked up. Like that's what it feels like to me. And I feel like that the last few weeks since the 49ers game, it's almost like panic mode every day. I mean, you fire a defensive coordinator, you don't do that unless you're kind of in panic mode. No. So to me, it's like I think that they're panicking, man.
What's the sense of getting rid of Desai, but really not getting rid of him, but helping from the booth, but giving the play calling to somebody else that doesn't have their own defense? And yes, they are not installing a new defense, but saying, he's Patricia's running Desai's defense. This isn't Desai's defense. This is the defense you brought in that you wanted to keep, and you wanted a puppet to run it for you. That's what this is all about.
Yeah.
So then going to this game, I felt like, maybe Patricia will be a little bit more aggressive. And I feel like, are these guys fucking handcuffed? I mean, I
think they are. Well, listen, Jim Schwartz, right? He goes to Cleveland, #1 defense. You see them play. The defense don't look like anything. Jonathan Gannon, he's blitzed like 20, 30% of the time this year. Where was that? Where was that last year? I know he has a defensive
And-
coordinator, but still,
and
it's just crazy.
players too. I mean,
Yeah.
look at Miami, Duke Riley. Like, what? Like, that guy was on our practice squad. Like,
Yeah.
remember when LJ Fort left? He came here and he was cut before the season started and went to Baltimore, and then he's had some big article about how the Eagles, train, how training camp was and how different it was, and there's just something there's a controlling factor here that we need to be the blame on one guy and one guy only, like an Eric Bieniemy type of guy. Like, this is my playbook, this is how I'm going to run it, and it's all on me at the end of the day. Fire me if you have to fire me. That's how it should be. Not this. I feel like too many people are involved in game planning. I think that's what it is.
Very
too.
possibly. And at the end of the day, to me, all that has to fall back on the head coach. Derek Williams, thank you for Super Checkers. Fire Nick and bring in Jim Harbaugh. They would never hire Jim Harbaugh because Jim Harbaugh would demand that he gets some say in what they do, and they're just not going to do that. It's crazy. It's crazy. Now, the Eagles are 11-4. If they win the final 2 games, they win the division and get a home playoff game. Now we're in a situation where Dallas plays Detroit next week. I don't know who the hell to vote for, because if Dallas loses, then that's 1 game closer to helping the Eagles win the division. But if you want the number 2 seed, the Detroit Lions have to lose 1 more game.
Right.
The Lions are the 2 seed. So you almost have to go for Dallas in order to get that 2 seed and then hope the Eagles win out. It's going to be a crazy week,
I agree. It definitely is.
I think you have to. I mean, I think you have to be. I think you have to be the 2 seed. At worst, you need to be the 2 seed because you play the worst playoff team, and then you would play Detroit at home if they can even beat them. If they don't change things up, if they don't fix it soon, it won't matter.
I think to make moves a lot quicker, and like I said, this is a one and done team as is right now, because there's nothing that's really proving to me that they're going to move. They get by the first round. I don't know, but I feel like if they're going to have a home game, I really hope they do get 2nd seed. This way, it will make it much worse, and I think it will get things better if it is at home. If this thing implodes even more than what it is right now, I think they need to be home and play in front of everybody on national television to see how embarrassing it is. I do.
Yeah, I agree. They got to play on what you'll call it. We can clinch next week if the Cowboys lose, and all we got to do is win. I'm trying to think, right? Because if you lose to the Giants, would the Cowboys have the division tiebreaker on you at that point? They would have the extra conference loss. So I'm not 100% sure, either way. You're that dude that if we go 13-4 Sirianni, if we go 13-4, I agree. I don't think he does. But if they lose one of the next 2 games and then they lose in the first round of the playoffs, that combination, I think he's canned.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's gonna lose the locker room by that time.
Yeah. I think whatever it seems like, just early indications with the press conferences going on and things being said today, it seems like things are starting to boil over a little bit and spill out. So now that the Philly media is smelling. AJ Brown doesn't want to talk to the media. He has nothing nice to say. They smell blood in the water, so they're going to be trying to figure out what the hell's going on. So who knows what we're going to hear. Garrett says they need to use Goddard like Kansas City uses Kelsey. I would not mind that at all. Steven says we need a new voice in the locker room. I agree. I don't know, man. It's really crazy. What's going on. I think there's just so much more that we just don't know.
Definitely not.
Yeah. Can't we? Yeah, we can still get the number 1 if the Niners lose 2 more times and we win out, we would get number 1 seed. And Detroit would have to lose once too, because Detroit has Detroit is actually the number 2 seed right now. We're actually the number 3. That's what I'm saying. You might actually have to root for Dallas next week, which is very hard. There's no chemistry with these Eagles. Simple as that. Too easy to blame the coaches. Yeah, but why isn't there any chemistry? Because why? I mean, because of the way Howie put them together. I mean, most of the offense, most of those guys were together all year last year. They had chemistry then. So how do you go from having chemistry with the same guys last year to no chemistry? To me, it has to be the coaches are not putting you in the correct position to succeed.
Yeah.
It's going to be really crazy. Pope Platinum Beats, thank you for super chat. Goes, Eagles do have any blitz beater hot routes in the playbook? No. No, I don't think so. I mean, they didn't seem like they even tried to adjust to any of the blitzes that the Giants were doing at all. It didn't even seem like they tried. It's like the Eagles have to run the ball. They have to come out and be a physical team. We're going to pound it down your throat. They can do that with that offensive line, and they have to start doing that. I would add more RPOs. I mean, at this point, this late in this year, you got to do it. Will they do it? I don't know. JMB says, honestly, I feel like we're lucky for so long that now feels like we are just unlucky. Yeah, it's crazy. It is. Best coach tonight was the crowd. Oh, my God. The crowd was yelling for them to run the ball, and they finally started doing it. Yeah,
crazy.
It is crazy. And like I said, DeAndre Swift was so good.
Oh, man.
I don't understand why they don't use him more. You got this guy who makes great plays and makes things happen, and you just refuse to use him. I can't understand it,
I get it.
Boston got stripped of the giant killer status. Yeah. Would you strip him of the giant killer status after tonight?
I mean, I don't know. If he's not given opportunity, then, I mean, it's not his fault.
Do you think he was benched because of that fumble?
That fumble wasn't on him, though. I mean, he got laid out by his own teammate.
How do you let go of that ball? How do you know? How does he not hold the ball? Like, you got to hold that ball. And I don't understand how Zacchaeus gets thrown 15 yards into him like that.
Yeah, he got pushed, right?
House Cat says, my uncle told me to be positive about this game. They said it was an ugly-ass win. I said, I told you by the skin of our teeth. By the way, Merry Christmas to you both and your family. House Cat, Merry Christmas to you, man, and your family. Eagles are the number 2 seed. Philly worried. No.
They're not.
Not anymore. The Detroit Lions actually have the tiebreaker over us right now. So we have to get them to lose one more time. That third conference loss of Seattle really hurt us in the tiebreaker. So,
shame.
Yeah. What is going on with Rashad Penny? I just think Rashad Penny's there for I don't even know what the hell, man.
He's getting water towels. He's giving people massages.
Trey Sermon looked pretty good with the Colts. Chris B. Davis Super Chat, he goes, who would you hire if Nick was fired, offensive or defensive coach? I would go for an offensive coach, most likely, because I got a young quarterback in Hurts that I need to continue to develop. But I would make sure that I get a really experienced defensive coordinator and give him a lot of responsibility. And I would go to the old Jim Johnson tree. I'd go back to that. But they won't do that. They don't want to do that. Let me see. Calm down. We ain't just like the team things may look. Wait. Calm down. We against just like the team things may look the same, but you can win all the way to. So remember the Giants. They got it. Listen, I do not disagree that they have the talent to do something like that. They have the physical talent. The question is, and the one thing that they're not doing that the Giants back then are doing is they're all on the same page. I don't know if this team is all on the same page right now. I think that's the problem, you know.
If it was more between the players, then we would see a lot of stuff between the players in general. But I don't think it is. I think players have been holding a lot of shit in throughout the season, and like you said, it's just it's poured all over the place now. So
Yeah, they need to have like a players only meeting, and then they send the captains of the team to go talk to these coaches. Because I think
Slay's
that's
got to
what it
talk
is.
to those coaches.
Yeah. LJ Taylor Super Chat goes, a win is a win is a win. We'll be fine. Hey, no, a win, and I don't want to take away from winning a game. You needed the win, and my hope going forward is that the win will alleviate some of the pressure, and maybe they can calm down a little bit, get back into a rhythm, and start turning this thing on. But there's a lot of questions right now. There just is.
Mm-hmm.
We are the number 2 seed. I don't know how that could possibly be when Detroit has a tiebreaker over you. Detroit has 4 losses, right? They lost to who did Detroit lose to? I'm trying to remember. They lost to Baltimore, I believe. I believe they have 2 conference losses. I think they only have 2 conference losses. So I think we have 1 extra conference loss, and that's why they're the 2 seed. I think they've only lost 2 conference losses. We've got 3. Chris B. Davis Super Chat goes, Gannon going to blitz the hell out of us next week. I know, and we're all going to be sitting there going, where was this last year? And that's going to make us question why is it different? Detroit has 3 conference losses. Okay, well, I don't know. Everything I read and was told, the Lions are the 3 seed. I mean, Lions are the 2 seed, and the Eagles are the 2 seed.
Right.
So, let me go to the playoff picture here. I'm going to pull it up. Yeah, right now, I just don't think this is updated yet. They have if you go to NFL Network, it'll say Eagles are the 2 seed. Let me see here. 4-1, 3-2.
A lot of people
7-3,
saying we're the 2nd seed. A lot of people are saying.
Well, it's showing that on NFL Network. It is showing that. But if you look at what they were saying and talking about, the Eagles would technically be the 3. It could be a situation like the Dallas where the schedule has to play out, and if the Lions win out, then they would have a tougher strength of schedule. I don't know. Everything I read, they were a 2 seed. Detroit, and the Eagles were 3. But if that's the case, then that's great. Then just go win. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we'll see. You 2 may want to tie the Lions, Cowboys. Well, if we're the 2 seed, then I want the Lions to win.
Right.
When Slay comes back, they have to put Trashberry on the bench. Teams know if they have. They go, oh yeah, you got it. I think Ringo has to be your number 2 guy, and you have to play Ringo and Slay. I don't think Bradbury can survive, dude. I totally agree.
No.
Yeah.
Well, it's been pretty bad.
Yeah. So we'll see. Fugly Gang, David Super Chat goes, coaching has nothing to do with Hurts bailing out. Well, I mean, if you can't recognize the blitz, if you can't have any hot routes, if you can't have anything set up to combat the blitz, what is he going to do? Bail out. So I don't know that they're putting him in a position to succeed. I don't think they're putting their players in a position to succeed. Not to say that Hurts hasn't had his regression, hasn't made his mistakes, but I think it's more of a coaching issue than a quarterback issue.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Everyone knows. Everyone keeps saying we'll be fine when really not. You're all blind. When people realize that we are not fine, it doesn't look fine right now because this is every week. You know what I mean? This is like, it's not a matter what San Francisco did or not a matter Dallas did or not a matter. It's every week. No matter who we play, we struggle, and it's the same issues all year long, and they haven't been able to get it turned around or fixed. That's the truth. That's the truth.
Yeah, I mean, they got some time. I mean, it's just a time factor now, but it's just to a point now. I mean, if the coaches are fighting with each other on field and it's being shown of that, I mean, then the relationships are destroyed at this point. Or just,
yeah. LJ says, did you all expect to go 17-0, winning every game by 40? No, but I didn't expect them to fire their defensive coordinator. I didn't expect that every game they're going to be down at halftime 10 points. I didn't expect to allow teams like the Giants, when you're up 20-3, to give them 14 points easy. I think the Eagles are -7 in turnover differential this year. I didn't expect to be the worst third down team getting sacks in the league. Like, there's a lot of things that I didn't think they would do that they're doing that worries me more than having the occasional loss or screw up. You know what I mean?
They haven't played a complete game this year. They haven't played. This was probably the best game they had of more of a complete game this season.
In the first half, I would say. Now, second half was like they tried to give the game away. You know,
but I'm just saying they looked more productive in 4 quarters this game, than really any other game they played. I'm just talking about scoring. I'm just saying at least like they looked like they looked like a deer in headlights for every series. But we haven't, and these, I'm not saying it's got to be a perfect 4 quarters, but how does your offense look like this every first half of every game when we went through our gauntlet? I mean, it was just like, oh, we're winning, so let's just keep it. I mean, if you're winning that way, then why not just keep with the same old game plan? I don't know.
Right.
The way they ran with Hurts, the way they ran with the DeAndre Swift today, you would think that, oh man, like this is what we need to do, like this is it, but they're not going to go into next game. It's like they want to torture us again. I mean, they just want to.
Right.
It's just.
Listen, I'm happy they won. I'm glad that they won, and I'm hoping that the win and the extra week, I hope that it'll start to get us going, and we'll figure things out. But I can't help but be worried.
Right.
Majiza, David Supercheck goes, looking at the Baltimore 49ers game, different level. Yeah, it sounds like a hell of a game. I don't even have it on yet. Fugly game, David Supercheck goes, what does playing by analytics mean in a game? Well, I mean, what it does is when they use analytics, especially during game, a lot of times it takes the feel of the coach and what they have. So let's say you have a 4th and 2 at another team's 30, right? And let's say it's a 5-point game or a 6-point game, and you can make it a 2-score game. Analytics sheet will tell you got to go for it on 4th and 2. And so they listen to that. So it really takes the feel and the coaching out of the game in a lot of respects. And it does that also in a game plan. When you game plan using analytics, it takes what the coaches watch and see. And then when you go to the draft and they over analytics, well, it takes away what the scouts view. And it takes away the eye kind of. And that's the problem with overdoing it with analytics. Does that make sense? Is that? I hope I answered that question. LJ Davis Super Chat goes, okay, despite all the issues you said, we're at 11-4, still winning 11 games was easy. Everyone do it. Yeah, it's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy. And listen, I want to win 13 games. We got to win 13 games this year.
Well,
so
I mean, it's one of those things where, like, the fans that say, but we're 11-4. It's just like it's a week-to-week league every week. Like, I don't care what we did earlier this season, because if we're not playing up to that bar, or we're not close to what we're playing now, you're getting worse right now. I mean, you're not getting better; you're getting worse. And now you're seeing coaches fight on the sideline. Now, I mean, I can't ignore like there's something internally wrong. All the crap statements about Jalen Hurts' internal concerns this week. I mean, someone's just trying to put the blame on somebody. at this point with these horrible articles that are coming out, because nobody knows what the real problem is. But I don't care about the record. Once you get into the playoffs, we have a playoff spot. Once you get to the playoffs, 11-4 or whatever it is by the time we end the season, that record, it won't mean anything when we get into the playoffs.
Yeah,
so
exactly. Well, listen, I hope everything's cool and we just keep rolling and things get better. But with all that's going on, you gotta wonder. You just gotta wonder. Fly High David Super Chat goes, we have the number 2 seed over Detroit based on victory and tiebreak 479 us them 436. Okay, great. That's better. From what I was hearing today, they were saying a 3rd seed was what we were. So I'll take the number 2 seed. That's great. I love it. Hosea Jones, David Super Chat goes, just look at the playoff standing. We're number 2. If the playoffs start today, we will play Seattle at home. Thoughts? Yeah, I think they crushed Seattle at home. Assuming that they can get things right, I think they would beat Seattle at home. And if they're hitting on the levels that they need to, they'll beat Detroit at home. I think they can go to the NFC Championship game. I think it's a very easy route to get there, Ty Razor, David Super Chat goes, it stands now. We're technically the number 2 seed. If Detroit loses one more and we win out, then that is a lock. So sucks, but we may have to root for Dallas. So what if Detroit wins out and we both win out? Or are we still the 2 seed? That's what I'm wondering. Common Sense, man. Thank you so much for the super sticker. Man, we appreciate that, man. The message it says was retracted, but thank you so much, man. We definitely appreciate that. LJ Davis Super Chat goes, Joey don't care about past, but predicts the future.
If you think this team is winning a playoff game in this condition, then I don't know. And I see like, then don't roll, then don't be on the bandwagon, don't roll with the team. Dude, if I wasn't rolling with this team, I trust me, I wouldn't be talking about them right now. I support them and I support them in every day. I mean, I try to figure what's going on with this team, what's going on. I root for them every game, but you got to take the good with the bad every week. You can't just positivity only gets you, so far, but there's internal problems. There's something wrong with what's going on with this team. It's not about my fandom, about Pete. Don't question somebody's fandom because they're negative about something of the team. What's going on is they beat the Giants. Whoop-de-doo. They beat the Giants. They barely almost threw the game away. Almost. And then statistics come through the window. Who cares about what they did earlier this season? Because it doesn't matter. Yeah, how we got to this point matters, but it's a week-to-week league. It changes. A team could change. All it takes is 1 bad game, 2 bad games, 3 bad games. That's what it comes down to. People got to realize that.
I hear you. Mike Legend, he says 500 is the most delusional Eagle fan. Mike, Merry Christmas, buddy. Thank you. Crispy, thank you for Super Chat. He goes, Joey, what candy you eating? It's nice and chewy.
Sweet Tarts mini chewies.
There you go. T Razor Rex, thank you for Super Chat. He goes, unfortunately, if they both win out, then we are the number 3 seed. So there you go. So if they both went out, we would be the number 3 seed. That's what they were saying. That's what I saw earlier today. So yeah, we're gonna have to root for Detroit. We're gonna root for Dallas next week. Go Dallas! Oh, I can't even say it.
Just wear a Cowboys hat.
Yeah, green eggs and ham. David Super Chat goes, well, they'll need a few analytic coaches. We are at the mercy of statistics and probability. Let's just play football. Happy holidays, fellas. Happy holidays, my friend. LJ David Super Chat goes, we are the only fan base that cries that wins aren't pretty enough and losses aren't pretty enough. It's football, not a beauty pageant.
All right, bro.
I don't think I'm not sad that they won ugly. I'm worried about the other aren't you have concerns? Do you have concerns about that they fired your defensive coordinator and you're 10-3? That there's things coming out about your quarterback this week. There's players that now don't want to even talk to the media. those are the things that make me worry.
It's
You
more
know,
than
it's
the
not
game. It's more
that's
than
the
the
things
game.
that I worry about. Fly apart, David Super Chat goes, if we both win out, we are the T2 seed based on strength of schedule. I'll take it. I honestly, man, I'm so confused now by it. Whatever it is, whatever needs to be done that's best for the Eagles to get the 2 seed is what I will be rooting for, definitely, yeah, so I don't know. I mean, listen, they won, they got 11 wins. I'm glad. We're all glad. I hope that they can figure out everything else and kind of get this thing going before the playoffs. But they did win and they are a game up on Dallas. And I mean, is there anything else you want to say, man? Before I said we're going to not go long, but we're here 50 minutes.
Yeah, no. No, I mean, this week is going to be another. You get a win, and there's still going to be drama. That's just what it is. Like, we're going to find out about a lot more stuff this week, and I hope it's. I don't know. It's going to get worse sooner or later. If they lose it, like you said, I think I totally believe it. If they lose one of these next two games,
yeah, I think it's
not going to be good.
It's a big problem. Yeah, I agree. I always go back to the Doug thing. I mean, Doug won a Super Bowl and then took you to 3 straight playoff years, right? And then he missed one playoff and they got rid of him.
Yeah.
So anything's possible. T Razor Rex David Super Chat goes, being a fan means being critical. Looking at last year, we are worse on every stat, from the top to the mid last year. Wins don't have to be pretty, but the team shouldn't look this bad.
Exactly.
Yeah. To me, it's the internal things. Like I think that the looking bad and all the things that are going on during a game that seem like we make mistakes. I believe that's all a symptom of something bigger that's going on within the front office and the organization. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
DMB David Super Chat goes, if the Eagles lose and the Seahawks win, Detroit's strength of schedule is weaker than ours because that means Seattle is better than Minnesota. Thus, we went out and okay. So basically, it's going to depend on strength of schedule. The strength of schedule can still change, and we're basically, if we want to be sure that we get the 2 seed, it's better to have Detroit lose, because then we don't have to worry about it. Otherwise, it's going to depend on what other teams do. Okay. It's crazy. Bald Eagle David Super Chat goes, WTF is an analytics coach. What the F are they coaching? They just see situation and look at the percentage next to it. They are as useful as Rashad Penny. They do. That's what they do. It's like pro football. Was it Pro Football Focus or whatever? They just calculate the calculations of the cornbread. They come up with this. Okay, on this play, the analytics, the numbers say to do this. So that's what they do. Building a game plan offensively, it's better to come out throwing than running. And then that's what they do. And some teams, not all of them, they take analytics as like the most important thing. And that's what we are known for doing. Instead of saying, okay, this is one piece of a way you build things. Like, we'll use this as one informational piece. The Eagles make it way more important.
Yeah.
So anyways, listen, a win is a win. And really, I don't want to be overcritical. I don't, but we got to keep it real and tell you how we see it,
I can't look over the internal shit and be like, hey, Philly, like, man, they really toughed it out tonight. Like, man, 2 more games. I can't ignore the other shit that's going on.
See, if let's say it was 23 halftime. Let's say if this game ends, 37-6, 37-13, I would have felt like, all right, I would have been a lot more up. But when I saw that one thing go bad at the start of the third quarter, I felt like the team just started to panic and started to tighten up. And you saw what happened on the sidelines later in the game, So it's hard for me to be like, oh boy, everything's good now, because that's not what we're seeing, you know. Say Boogie Davis Super Check. If you take away the Dallas Goedert slipping the kickoff fumble, how did we look?
Well, there's more.
Yeah, I think that we looked okay. But I think my issues with those things is I believe that it creates panic, it creates frustration, and it leads to things boiling over, like the coaches yelling at each other and AJ Brown not wanting to talk to the media. If it was just those two plays and those two mistakes, we could all just be like, well, if you take those two things away, we're okay. But it seems like there's other things going on when pressure starts to mount, or if it's close or something happens. It seems like everybody starts fighting amongst each other, bickering. Everybody looks mad. Everybody looks like they're arguing. It's just, you know what I'm saying, Joey?
Yeah.
You can feel something is not right with that.
No, I mean, it's just you gotta go into these games now where like you have to expect like that they're not going to change. And I went to this game expecting that they would look better, and they did. They won a game, and that's the most positive thing that we could say. But like we said, the nucleus of your culture has been damaged. Like, this is bigger than just losing a few games consistently. This is like players are getting sick of this. Like, it's not fair to players that players are taking more accountability during the week, but not even just that, but they're getting ready and they're excited. And then it's just felt like the coaches are failing them every week. And failing them, and especially the sideline shit that's going on, that's even worse now. I mean, that just made it worse.
It's starting to blow up. It really is.
Yeah.
So we got to figure that out, and they got to clear the air. They got to figure it out. And I think if they do that, and maybe the win will help. I think that you can then focus on all that other stuff. It's not it's like the mistakes are just a symptom of something deeper. And I say that by the way that the team responds to the mistakes, the way they respond to the pick six, the way that they respond to the fumble. And you see the coaches arguing amongst each other over calling a timeout. AJ Brown doesn't even want to talk to the media. Why? He just won. If it's all just about winning, why doesn't he want to talk to the media? So I think everybody, if you really think about it, there's something else bigger at work here. And the question is can they resolve it? That's the question I have.
Yeah, I get it.
Fugly Gang, David Super Chat goes, fans are okay with winning the way we do, simply don't know football and speaks to your competitiveness. It's not black and white. Winning is just not winning. Playing winning football is crucial. And especially this time of year. This time of year is playoffs. You can't make the mistakes that they make every week and expect to go far.
No.
What could it be, you think, Philly? My opinion is that the players do not buy into the system, and they don't like how they're being used. This is my theory now, and they're frustrated by that. They don't feel like the coaches are putting them in the best position to win, and when they get out there and they start running the game plan, it doesn't work. They get easily frustrated because they don't believe in it anyways. That's what I think it is. But I don't know for sure. But that's my guess. And I say that because if you look at a couple times where they show shots at Jalen Hurts and Brian Johnson's talking to him, he's rolling his eyes at him. He's like looking away, rolling his eyes like he's frustrated. You look at the way these guys go sideline or talk to coach, you can see they're frustrated. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get it.
Chris B. Davis goes, going to be a lot of player coach changes all season. I think it's going to be really interesting. And it's going to be really interesting to see how things play out. Now, maybe they can work it out. Maybe you just got to sit there and talk, make some adjustments, and everything could get going again. I'm not saying it can't. I'm just saying, like, when Boston Scott fumbled that ball, I felt like that team automatically tensed up and went into like panic mode. I really do. But I mean, we'll see. Yeah, I mean, if there's anything else you want to talk about before we get out of here, I want to end this. It's an hour in.
All right, yeah, let's do it.
It's a Christmas night, so I want to go. I got to do my cigar video, which will be interesting, and then I want to go spend. My kids were upset with streaming today, so I want to go spend time with them the rest of Christmas. So
yeah. All right.
Yeah, man. Anything else you want to say before we get out of
Yeah,
here?
no, I'm I don't know what's going to happen this week, but I mean, I don't know. Hopefully, a players' meeting, or hopefully, coaches and player. You still got a playoff game to play. Like they're stuck with each other, so they got to figure it out, and that's that's what I got to say.
Italian Guy Game says, I think the scheme has caused the players to regress, but your decision making is still yours, and that may be where the conflict is coming from. It could be the players are pissed off because they don't like the scheme, and then they're making mistakes. And the coaches are saying, well, it ain't our scheme. You threw this interception. And you don't know. Maybe that's the friction of this whole thing. I don't know. I'm only speculating. I don't know what's going on. I just know that you don't fire a defensive coordinator. Listen, here's the thing. Why did the Eagles, think about this on the way out, why did the Eagles fire their defensive coordinator and then make it known to the world? But they didn't really fire him, right? They demoted him. To me, they fired him, but they didn't get rid of him. But they made sure to tell everybody that Brian Johnson, that Sean Desai isn't calling the plays anymore. Why even leak that out? You didn't have to say anything. All you had to say is Sean Desai is going to go up into the above and try to take a different look and see what he's looking at, and he's going to communicate with Patricia. They didn't have to tell anybody that Patricia was now the defensive coordinators. They went out of their way to do it.
Yeah,
why?
Yeah.
Because they're trying. There's something going on there. Otherwise, you just do it quietly, and nobody would have known or been the wiser. Right. They did it, and they leaked it out on purpose. That tells me that there's something else going on. Really think about it. It doesn't make sense. They could have just said, Desai is going to call play, is going to take over, and he's going to be up in the booth to get a different perspective. He wants another look. He wants I don't know. But they made sure to tell everybody he's not calling the plays.
But ban Desai from being on the sideline, going to the booth where he's not near Nick. So my other assumption of that is like Nick and him don't get along.
Yeah.
That's how he wants to keep Desai in the building. That's how I feel. Like, why would he go up to the booth? Why not fire him? That's what I'm saying.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe Nick's here is banging everybody's winning.
We gotta sneak up to Novacare.
Something's going on. I just don't know what it is, and it's going to leak out later. It will. The question is it bad enough that you can't fix it, or is it something that they just got to fix? Sean says there are some truly strange things going on behind the scenes. There is. There is some strange things. Key Comment says, love you guys. Love the Eagles. I'm afraid guys, that we could easily lose Seattle or Rams at home in our first playoff game. We're just missed something this year. Don't know what it is. Yeah, we could. And at the same time, I could see if this team could turn it around, they could get hot and go back to some big winning streak. I think they have that in them too, but they got to fix whatever is really going on. They got to fix it. They do. And I'm going to enjoy this win tonight. I'm going to enjoy it and say, good, we're 11-4 and Dallas lost. Great. And then, we're going to focus on seeing what we can figure out what the hell is going on and if they can fix it,
Yeah.
It's crazy. I'm hoping that the win will alleviate some of the internal pressures going on. That's what I hope. And then if it does that, then maybe we can then start going forward. But to me, when I watched this game and the fumble happened with Boston Scott in that third quarter, this team got really tight and started to panic. And then the next thing you know, they give up 14 points.
These players are going to get crucified this week. They're going to get crucified this week. Now, there won't be peace this week. There's no such thing as peace after all that happened last night. It's definitely not going to happen.
Yeah. Bubba says, do you guys understand the defense for the last 2 weeks has been a little bit? No, I get it. I get it. And there's a part of that that's just fundamentally broken on defense. There's a certain aspect of defense you just can't fix, but that offense should still be better than what it's been. You still shouldn't have mistakes like you have on special teams. Like, there's just a lot of stuff going on, and I don't know what it is, but I know that there's something. Don't know.
Yeah.
So, anyways, guys, with that said, I'm not gonna have I don't have the Cowboy thing queued up. We are gonna let you guys go, and I'll have a cigar video out later tonight. I'm gonna go work on it now so that I can watch. I think my kids wanted to watch Gremlins tonight, so
nice.
we're gonna watch Gremlins. Yeah, but all right, guys, win is a win. Listen, we are happy that they won, and we hope for the best, and we're gonna be rooting all the way to the end. But we also think that there's other things going on behind the scenes. We just don't know what it is.
True.
That's the truth. So, all right, guys, you all have a great night. Merry Christmas to each and every one of you guys.
Yes.
And we will talk to you later. Peace.
Peace.